All right, welcome everybody. My name is Tyler Garns. I'm the founder and CEO here at Box Out Marketing, and this is our daily small business lifeline call. So if you've been participating in these, you know what they're all about. If you're new to these, which we've been having new people sign up every single day, that's why I've been explaining it every single day. These lifeline calls are designed to help you with questions or challenges that you're having with Infusionsoft, with Keap, with your marketing, whatever it may be. Now, this week, we're doing things a little bit differently because yesterday, today, tomorrow, and Thursday, I'm spending the first 15 to 20 minutes or so diving a little bit deeper on some marketing strategy training. We're finding that a lot of times people are getting into Infusionsoft or getting into Keap, and they're working on the wrong things, or they're building the wrong campaigns, or they're approaching the campaigns the wrong way. And so we're covering over these 4 days 6 ignored rules, marketing rules, that are killing your marketing campaigns. So yesterday, I covered the first 2 rules. Let's switch over here to the slides. You should be able to see my slides now. If you'll hop in the chat and just let me know if everything is operating well. You can see my camera, you can see my slides, and you can hear my voice okay. Looks like we're getting response here, so everything's okay. So let's just review here really quick what we went over yesterday. First is we're covering the fundamentals, the foundation of your business. So the business basics, rule number 1 is don't try and fight a losing battle. And we talked about your industry. Is it growing or shrinking? If you're in a shrinking industry and you're continuing to market and thinking that, you know, some new campaign or some fancy funnel is going to solve your problem, well, you got a bigger problem, and that is your industry. Do you have a competitive advantage in your market? If you don't, then maybe you need to rethink things, because if you don't have a competitive advantage, it's really going to be hard to make your marketing work. Do you have an easy or unique way of reaching your audience? If not, again, you could have the best funnels in the world, the best campaigns in the world, really fancy automation, but if you can't actually reach your people, you got a problem. And then the stage of business that you're in is going to make a difference as well in how you approach your campaigns. And a lot of people don't realize this. When you're a solopreneur versus a company of a couple of people versus 10 people versus 50 people versus 100 people, and the revenue associated with those stages of growth, you're going to approach marketing and advertising differently in all of those different stages. Okay, rule number 2 has to do with the economics of the business. The economics must work. Okay. And this is, again, an area where we don't often stop and think about this stuff when we're looking at our marketing campaigns. But fundamentally, if the economics of your business don't work, then there's no sense spending time, money, or effort on your marketing just to pump leads and customers into a system that doesn't work. So you got to ask yourself the hard question. And it might be a hard question because, truthfully, you don't want the honest answer. Is your product or service actually profitable? More importantly, as you scale, does it get more profitable? Most service businesses actually get less profitable as they scale. We talked about that yesterday. The recording for yesterday's meeting and all the detail on this will be up later today. So if you missed it and you want to go back and review it, that'll be there. We went into a lot of detail on each of these things. Next question, can you scale revenue and profits ahead of people? If not, then you have a fundamental economic problem with your business that marketing is not necessarily going to solve. So the first 2 pieces of the foundation. The third piece of the foundation is your business model. And this is where we're going to spend a few minutes today, is talking about your business model. And more importantly, your conversion model. Okay, the campaigns or the strategies that you use, we call that the conversion model. It's how you get people from point A to point B, how you get a prospect to purchase your product and become a raving fan. It's the customer life cycle, if you call it. The model of your customer life cycle, the conversion model, must match your business model. We talked yesterday a bunch about how most people who teach marketing are influencers. They're internet marketers. They're software companies teaching this stuff. And so they're teaching it in a way that helps you utilize their software better. Or they're internet marketers and they're teaching you internet marketing style marketing. And maybe you just don't have an internet marketing business. And so you've got to pay attention to the fact that most of the education out there is not right for your business. Or there are lessons to learn there for sure, but you have to know how to adapt them to your business. So First question is, what is your business model? There are 4. We bucket all small businesses into one of these 4. Now, you may see that there's a little bit crossover, or you might look at your business and say, well, I'm kind of in this one and that one. Fine. But just about every business, not every business, but just about every business will fit into these 4 buckets. Local service businesses. So that's everything from your local landscapers, pest control, doctors, lawyers, etc. Household services, I call, pest control, roofing, plumbing, all that kind of stuff. And then professional services is where we bucket the dentists, orthodontists, doctors, lawyers, all that kind of stuff, right? Okay, so local service businesses. Then you have online service businesses. That's a business like mine that is an agency. We offer a service, but we're not bound by geography like the local service businesses are. You have e-commerce, people who sell widgets online, actual physical things that get shipped, okay? And then you've got influencers. Influencers are your speakers, authors, coaches who are selling information, right? Information marketers, or sometimes we call them internet marketers. They're selling information and they're influencers, okay? So those are the 4 different business models. So the question really at hand here is, does your conversion model match your business model? And the majority of the time that we see campaigns that aren't functioning well, it's because the conversion model doesn't match really well the business model. We see small businesses utilizing a lot of different things, a lot of different funnel ideas, strategies, tactics, etc., that they learn at a conference or in a book or on some website, and they're really not the right ones for their business model. So these 3 things we call the strategic foundation, okay? And then the next 3, the other 3 rules, we call your tactical advantage, okay? And we're gonna get into the tactical advantage tomorrow and Thursday. But today we're gonna spend a little bit more time on this business model stuff. So let's just review these real quick. What are these business models and how do they operate? So influencers, speakers, authors, coaches, okay? These are your gurus, your speakers, your authors, coaches. They typically have what we call an ascension model, okay? So they bring people in through a lead magnet. They offer something free. Hey, take this quiz or get this free ebook or free video, whatever. And then they offer a tripwire. So a tripwire is an offer that's typically under $10. Something easy and quick that get people to pull out their wallet and make that first commitment. Okay, and then the next thing they offer is a little bit more. It might be some kind of group education or training or more extensive online training, and then on up into one-on-one coaching or consulting. So they ascend people from this low commitment free thing to a very minimal financial commitment, to a little bit bigger commitment, to a larger commitment, to a very big commitment, okay? And so the prices of their products vary from low price to high price, right? Those tripwires are less than $10, but the high-end coaching or consulting might be $20, $30, $40, $50,000 a year for that high-end mastermind or consulting or whatever it is that they're selling. The sales model, again, this is important to recognize, is varied. You have online, right, which is when they're doing the lead capture and the tripwire and the stuff like that. And then oftentimes you have webinars to sell the mid-range price products. And then you have live events and consultations to sell the higher end stuff. Let's look at local services, okay? These are your doctors, lawyers, plumbers, landscapers. They have a local service model, so they're bound by geography. They sell services to meet a need, and many of them are one-time services. Sometimes, some of these businesses have retainer-based or recurring services. And these products generally range from medium price to high price. They're not typically selling anything for less than $10, right? They're selling things for hundreds of dollars to thousands of dollars, so medium to high price. And the sales model is almost always a consultation is required. So you can see now just from looking at those 2 business models that the conversion model, the customer life cycle needs to be very different, okay? It needs to be very different. These people are not going to be selling with a tripwire and a core offer and an upsell and blah, blah, blah. It's getting people into a consultation that is the key for a local service business model. All right, online service. These are agencies like ours, software as a service businesses, consulting and coaching businesses. So it's a remote service model. Just like the local service businesses, they sell services to meet a need. Many are one-time services, and some of them have retainer-based or recurring services. Again, the prices vary from medium price to high price, and the sales model is usually a webinar or a consultation. Okay, a consultation is almost always required, but some of these things can be sold through a webinar or some kind of group selling mechanism. It's not typically going to happen just from an email to a landing page or a sales page where someone clicks a buy button and goes forward. Okay. All right, and then we have e-commerce. These are shippable items, physical products. Products generally vary from low to medium. Sometimes you have some high-priced products that are shipped this way or purchased and shipped this way, but usually it's low to medium-priced products. The sales model is online sale, right? Sometimes a phone call is required or chat. You know, sometimes there's some level of interaction there to answer questions while someone's in the purchase process. But it's fairly minimal. Most of the sales happen online without any real human interaction. Let's talk about some of the terms that I've used just to make sure we're all on the same page. Tripwire offers. Okay, and this is, again, it's all important to the model that you end up using that matches your business model. Tripwire offers are less than $10. These are things that that people can make a purchase without really thinking about it, right? Impulse buy is what we're going for. You offer a value, a benefit, and if the price is so low that's like, you know what, even if it's terrible, I only wasted $9.95 or whatever. So you see this often with, again, influencers who are selling books or things like that. So this is a classic book offer where the book is free, just cover the shipping and handling for $9.95, right? So these must provide a clear and immediate benefit. If you don't, then that offer is not going to work. Even though it's less than $10, it must provide a very clear and immediate benefit. That's important, right? And they're sold exclusively online with traffic from email, social, ads, etc. Okay, this isn't sold over the phone. This isn't sold with a consultation. It's just sold right online. All right, then when someone buys that, they typically land on a thank you page that has an offer that we call a core offer or an upsell, right? And these are a little bit higher priced products. They tend to be between $20 and $200. They're sold as an upsell to the Tripwire. And so these must provide faster or easier access to the original benefit. Okay, we gotta go back to the original benefit. If we're not selling the original benefit still, we've gone off a tangent onto something else, we're gonna misfire on the upsell. So the upsell has to provide the same benefit, but help us get there faster and easier. So often this might be additional video training or something like that to go along with the Tripwire, okay? Webinars, mini courses, group training, etc., to supplement the Tripwire. All right, then you got your mid-range offers. These things are around $500 to $2,000. These are full training courses, live workshops, etc. And here, again, if we're selling along that same chain, we're going back to the original benefit, but now we're offering guided help to achieve the benefit. Okay, so it's not just like, hey, here's a bunch of training. It's like, hey, here's a full course, full curriculum, just follow it, or this live workshop that you're going to come and attend. We're going to walk you through everything, right? And so these are best sold through webinars and launches. Sometimes you're going to have phone sales reps as well, helping out sell these things, but they're usually webinars and launches. All right, lastly, we go to the high-end offers. This is more than $2,000. They're generally one-on-one services, high-end masterminds, etc. And they must provide personalized assistance to achieve the same benefit, okay? The desire of the customer hasn't changed. They still need the same benefit, but now they're paying more to get personalized assistance to achieve that benefit. So these are best sold through phone or in-person consultations or live events, things like that, okay? So let's start taking a look at conversion models. I hope now you have a pretty good idea of what business model you fit into. And now as we start to lay out some examples of conversion models, I hope you can start to identify where maybe you've taken a wrong turn before, trying to use a conversion model that's really for a different type of business. And you can start to identify what your conversion model might look like. Okay, so I'm gonna give you some examples that are common out there, and then I'm gonna start showing you conversion models for different types of business models. So digital marketer teaches lead magnet, Tripwire, core offer, profit maximizer. Right? We've just gone through this idea where you capture people with the lead magnet, you sell them the Tripwire, you upsell them the core offer, and then the profit maximizer is your big sale or your recurring service or your long-term membership or whatever, where that's really where all the profits are made. Okay, so that's the ascension model often used for influencers. Okay, but again, what if your business is a local service business? Okay, this plumber is not going to get leads from a lead magnet typically when someone has a leak under their sink. Okay, when someone has a leak under their sink, they want to call a plumber and get them out there right now to come fix it. They're not going to go you know, find a lead magnet and read some 47-page ebook about plumbing. Okay. Now, some weird do-it-yourselfers might, you know, they're going to go and probably not find an ebook, but they might find a YouTube video on how to do it themselves. But most people are just going to call that plumber and say, hey, come on out and fix this, please. Right. All right. Jeff Walker's Product Launch Formula, a great program. The basic format is you send out some pre-launch content, and then you have your pre-launch content, and then you have your open cart period, and then you have your closed cart period. That's the basic example of how the product launch formula works. And again, this works really well for influencers, but what if your business is a professional services business? Okay. The local lawyer is not going to set up a whole, you know, funnel with the product launch formula to let his audience know that he offers, say, for example, you know, divorce services or something like that. It just doesn't work the same way. That's a consultative sale that's required, not a launch process. Okay. Russell Brunson's Perfect Webinar. I purchased this product and it's phenomenal. It's great training on how to do a webinar and sell on a webinar. Here's the outline that he gives you. But what if your business is e-commerce and you're selling widgets online? Okay. Most people aren't going to go spend an hour on a webinar just to learn about a widget that they can buy for $10 or $20 on Amazon. They're probably just going to order it, see if they like it. If they don't, they'll return it, right? E-commerce has changed over the years and it's much easier and there's low risk. And so a webinar is overkill, okay? So in the chat, let me just ask you guys real quick. I've been talking a lot. Let's get this a little more interactive. What is your business model? Just type in there real quick. Are you local service, online service, e-commerce, or influencer? Okay, everyone hop in the chat real quick and just let me know what model you're in. Okay. All right, so we got influencer, local service with a little online service. Okay, great. I'm glad you mentioned that because some of you are a combination, okay? And we're gonna talk about that a little bit, okay? So Akemba, great. You recognize that you're a local service with a little online service. Rob says influencer. Barbara says online service primarily, but a bit of influencer. Good, you recognize that. Jonathan says we're pivoting from local service to online service. Great, that can be a tough transition, but it's possible. Local, national B2B products and services, brick and mortar. Okay, then we got e-commerce service. We got local service online. We got influencer / professional service. We got local service and online education. We got a travel agency, online and local service plus influencer. All kinds of stuff going on there. Then we got online sales with in-person delivery, transitioning to some online services. Great. So you guys are starting to identify where you fit, right? What business model you're actually operating in. And so let's start to lay out some of the characteristics of the different business models because this is what defines the conversion model you actually use, okay? So local services, they offer a service, not products. They do offer sometimes, not always, but sometimes those emergency services, right? So we talked about the plumber who gets someone calling saying, hey, I've got a leak right now. I need someone at my house right now, right? That's an emergency local service or an urgent need service. So a lot of local services offer those types of services. And they sell in the medium price, sometimes in the low price, and sometimes in the high price. But typically local services are medium price to high price, right? Okay. So then we got our online services. And again, they offer services. They don't offer 911 services or emergency services. They're typically in the medium price to high price range. And sometimes they have products, right? So look at our business. We offer services. We help people with their Infusionsoft and their marketing. We build funnels essentially, right? But we also have some training products. And so we're an online service that also in that situation operates a little bit like an influencer, okay? Because we have those products. We have some low price and medium price products that people can purchase, okay? All right, so then we have e-commerce, typically low price, and they sell products, not services, and sometimes medium price, usually not high price, but every once in a while. And then you got your influencers who sell products, and they sell them at low prices, and they sell them at medium prices, and they sell services a lot of times, but not always, and those are often at high prices. And they usually don't offer any kind of emergency service, okay? Now, look and see on this screen where your X's are, Okay, I want you to make note. Do I sell low price products, medium price products, or high price products? Which ones do I sell? Do I offer emergency services? Do I offer services or products? Okay, these are key factors in how you're going to design your conversion model. Okay, so let's look at some examples. We've got a local service, say a roofing company. They do sell emergency services because someone might get a leak when it's raining and they call up and say, hey, my roof is leaking all over the floor. I need someone to come and help me out right now, right? And then they also sell full roof repair and replacement. So this might be medium price for the emergency services, depending on the situation, high price for the full roof repair or replacement, okay? The medium cost to high cost, let's look at how the business works. They're gonna have phone intake, right? When it's emergency service needed, I'm calling on the phone. I'm looking up Google and I'm tapping the first number I see and I call up the phone, right? And then when they answer the phone, they've got to determine one of two things. Is this a 911 service? Is this an emergency service? Or is this someone calling to inquire about the full service? Okay, if it's an emergency service, then they're gonna quote and dispatch right away, right? They're gonna get someone out to your house right now. And then they're gonna deliver the service. If it's full service, then they're going to quote and follow up, or they're going to set up an appointment to follow up and have a further discussion about the quote. And then they're going to close the deal and they're going to deliver the service. Okay. Now you've also got people who are going to do a website search, right? If I'm not in kind of the emergency situation, I'm going to do a website search. I'm going to get a little bit educated on this, and I'm going to end up on their website where they might actually offer a lead magnet. Okay, now lead magnet might seem weird for a roofing company, but they might have some kind of quiz or assessment or a short guide, 5 things to know before you hire a roofer. There are various different ways to capture leads with non-standard lead magnets for local service businesses. So that person's going to get captured. They're going to go into an educational nurture process, and then maybe that's going to drive them to an online quote. Again, that online quote is going to go into the follow-up and then close the deal and then deliver the service. After any service is delivered, we're going to request an online review. Okay. Now, hopefully me walking through this helps you realize, okay, yeah, I see that. I see how that, it's very logical, right? I mean, this is not anything new for any of you guys, but breaking it down into these pieces hopefully helps you realize as a local service business how the model works, how the conversion process works. You notice there's no webinar involved here. Okay, there's no landing page with a tripwire and a core offer and a profit maximizer. Okay, it's none of that kind of stuff. It's a little more traditional, but there is a place here for lead capture, follow-up, nurture, automation, all those types of things. It just looks different. Okay. All right, so let's simplify that down a little bit further. So we got our phone intake and our web lead capture, right? The web lead capture goes through this educational nurture process. Both are eventually going to drive towards a quote. Then there's some follow-up. We close the deal, we deliver the service, and then we request the online review. Okay, that's a really, really high-level, simplified view of what the local service business model looks like for household services. Okay, it might look a little bit differently for a professional service. Okay, but there's going to be a lot of aspects that are very, very similar. Why? Because going back to that grid with all the X's, because a lot of the X's are the same. Okay, the main difference here is local services that are household services often offer those emergency services where professional service businesses typically don't. That's the biggest difference. Other than that, there's a lot of similarities in their model. So how do we do the web lead capture? Well, it might be a video series or a guide or something like that that's going to attract some attention. Then once we get them in, we're going to do some nurture, right, which is our typical indoctrination type sequence. And then with the quote and all that process, we're going to get them into a sales pipeline. And then after we deliver the service, we're going to maybe have a loyalty or rewards program where we reward people for giving us an online review or for coming back and purchasing more or whatever, right? So those are some ideas. Now we're getting it down into the tactics. These are campaign tactics, how we actually execute on delivering the conversion process. Okay. Any questions on that so far? Let's take a look at a couple of different ones. Here we're going to do a local service business. Let's say it's an elective surgery type of business, like a med spa. Okay, my animation's out of sync here, so I got a seminar there, but you get the idea. So again, they're going to have a phone or office intake, right? People are going to call up, or they're just going to walk into the office. And they also have radio ads. Oftentimes, these types of businesses are running radio ads or even online ads. And those ads might drive to an educational seminar, right? You've all seen this before. Hey, come on down to such and such hotel on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. We'll give you free lunch and we'll talk to you all about, tummy tucks or whatever, right? I don't know what they're selling, but, it's an educational seminar. And they get people there at very low cost or even for free to come and learn. Well, all of that, of course, the purpose is to drive to a quote. Then we've got our follow-up, close the deal, deliver the service, and request online reviews. And then there's a process, of course, of upselling, maintaining relationships, retention, etc. But again, we've got our online seminar as a lead, our live seminar, educational seminar as a lead capture device. We've got the phone intake as a lead capture device. If you're a local service business and you don't consider your phone as a lead capture device, and you don't have forms that your phone people are entering in contact data every time someone calls, then you're missing out on probably the most important part of the business, okay? All right, once we quote, we're going into some follow-up, some nurture, some indoctrination, if you will. We have a sales pipeline process built out in Infusionsoft, and we have our loyalty rewards program to encourage online reviews. All right, let's look at the influencer model. And we've already looked at this, so I'm going to go quickly, but we're basically going to go capture with a lead magnet, and then nurture into a tripwire, and then my stuff's all out of order here. But you got your core offer, your profit maximizer. And this happens typically all online in the beginning, right? We capture leads online, we indoctrinate, we do webinars, we do all that kind of stuff to upsell. And then we're inviting people to live events where we can sell them the higher ticket, higher profit items. And maybe even we use a sales pipeline to call and close those deals, okay? Now we've got our e-commerce, which is fairly simple as well. I'll get all this out here because it's all out of order. Whoops. There we go. So we got a lead magnet. Sometimes you notice the offer is up there because oftentimes the offer for e-commerce is what brings people in the door. It's not necessarily a lead magnet, right? But the lead magnet, think about this differently, is not necessarily an ebook or a video series or whatever. It might be a coupon, right? So the coupon itself, the lead magnet itself really is just an offer, right? It skips people forward to the offer by offering a discount or a bonus or something like that, right? So you capture people with the coupon, then you're going to do some nurture, some indoctrination, and actually get the offer in front of people, get them to purchase. Then you want them to purchase again, and that's the key here with e-commerce is repeat purchases. You've got a fulfillment process, online reviews, repeat purchases, etc. So that process is a little bit different, okay? So hopefully you're identifying here where your business model overlaps with these different business models and how the conversion model might be different in your business, okay? So question for you guys, would you like to know how to discover your perfect conversion model? You can just comment in the chat. We are in the process of building out a little quiz, a little tool online where people can go and answer some questions about their business, and then it will lay out for them various different examples of conversion models that would work for their type of business. So if you're interested in that, just say yes in the chat. We'll get that out to you guys soon. It should be later this week. We'll have that ready, and we'll share that with you, and that would be a great way for you to go and get just a little more insight, a little more training on your particular business model. All right, so let's just come back here. Let's see, what did I do? You guys are still here, right? Okay, my Zoom like disappeared. But let me see if there's any questions about what I've just shared. Again, I want to leave the rest of the time open for a Q&A. But do you have any questions about the business model? Okay, you've got 4 different major business models, your influencers, e-commerce, local service, online service. And then you've got various different conversion models that can be used to match up with those business models. And if you don't have a good match, then you're going to have a problem. So we got to make sure that we're looking at it the right way. We understand the business model and we understand the right conversion models that match. Let me know if that is all making sense or if you have questions about this stuff. Akema has a question. He says, how does this quiz work in your model? Great question. So in our model, we're, again, an online service business. We're an agency, but we also offer lower priced products. And so we tend to operate very much like an influencer style business, On the low end, we capture leads with influencer style marketing. We bring them in and sell them low price products, influencer style selling of products, right? And then we ascend people, instead of ascending people into like a high-end mastermind, we ascend people into our service, right? Our services, which is our unlimited factory implementation service. And so where does the quiz fit? The quiz fits in the process of identifying, helping the customer identify where their conversion model needs to be helped. And they might identify that, okay, my conversion model is off. It has challenges. I need to make some improvements here. And then we offer them opportunities to make those improvements. Those improvements could be, hey, get into Success Lab and go through some of our training, which will help you. Or if you don't have the time or energy or expertise to do it, then let's talk to us about us doing those services for you. And so it's a way to really educate the customer and give us some insight on their business at the same time. All right, Allison's asking, what tools do you use for discovery questions? Are you talking about discovery questions that you get answers to online, or that a sales rep might use in a discovery conversation? The quiz. Okay, so Allison's referring to the quiz. Well, for us, the quiz for us all comes back to, let me pull this up for you. And I'm gonna share my screen again. For us, this particular quiz is not really a quiz per se. It's more of a tool, and it comes back to this grid here, where we're going to ask people questions about: do you sell products? Do you sell services? Do you sell emergency services? Are they low price, medium, or high price? Based on how someone answers those questions, I can tell them, without even knowing anything about their business, I can tell them what types of marketing campaigns they should use to make all that happen. That's all I need to know. I don't need to know what industry you're in. I don't need to know what business model you're in. I could probably identify your business model just by knowing the answers to those questions. And so our little quiz or tool will be asking these questions, and then we can deliver to them, hey, here are the conversion models that you should be looking at for your type of business. Okay. All right. Josh, I see you there. That's great. Good to have you on here. All right, I got a lot of questions coming in here. Hold on just one sec. All right, Akemba says, I've heard, or maybe it's Josh, I've heard you say that the offer is a big fixer of even bad funnels. Is deciding on the conversion method the first part of a great offer? Yes. You can't put an offer out there without having the conversion model all figured out. I mean, you can, but it's all going to be more effective if you have a good conversion model all designed. But the offer, remember I said today and yesterday is the strategic foundation of your business. Tomorrow and Thursday, we're going to talk about your tactical advantage. The first piece of the tactical advantage is your offer. If your offer is not good, then I don't care how good your funnel is. I don't care how good your copy is. All of it's a waste because it's just not going to work. The offer has to be killer, has to be really, really good. And so you got to have a really great offer. But to get people to the offer, you got to have a conversion process, right? So you might have a great way to get people on your list and they don't buy anything. That's fine, as long as you can get an offer in front of them later. Or some people can drive ads straight into a really solid offer and get that to work. It all depends on price points, your model, all that kind of stuff. Okay. All right. I want to incorporate more 911 opportunities in my business. I have the sales pipeline set up, but it is more towards a console. Any idea on how to modify this? Yeah, emergency services don't typically utilize a sales pipeline, right? The examples I gave, the roofer who has someone call because their roof is leaking, or the plumber who has water spilling all over the place and the person's freaking out and they need someone to come and fix it. Those emergency services, here's the deal. Put yourself in those shoes of needing that service. I actually had this same problem a year ago, maybe. My wife calls, says, hey, the hot water heater in the garage is shooting water everywhere. What do we do? Well, I rush home, I get in there, and sure enough, the garage is flooding. There's water everywhere. It's shooting everywhere. And here's what happens. I get out my phone, Google, right? Plumber. And the very first one that pops up, I tap it and I call. Don't answer. All right, next one. No answer. Next one. All right, hey, I got water all over my garage. Stuff's going all crazy. Can you come right now? Yeah, we can send someone in 4 hours. Yeah, no thanks. Boom. Next one. Okay. And so that's the process. And the first person that gives us a semi-reasonable quote over the phone, I'm like, okay, yep, just send them. Like, I almost don't even care what it costs as long as it's not like completely insane. Just send them. So in that scenario, no sales pipeline was involved, right? We went straight from a phone call to a quote. And so what you should be doing on that side of things, if you're the business, is the first thing I'm doing is capturing the information. I'm probably using an internal form, boom, 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 name, email, phone, maybe some details on the case, submit. Great. Okay, that's going to put them into a holding pattern and a sequence somewhere with a timer that's just going to wait for a little while. The rest of the conversation, I'm like, okay, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. Let's quote it out. I'm maybe building a quote in Infusionsoft right then and there. If I'm going to use Infusionsoft, you might have some other kind of practice management software or whatever. And so in that situation, I'm building out that quote and then I'm offering the quote on the phone. And if they accept it, then I'm sending that off through Infusionsoft, or maybe the technician who gets there is going to have that quote on their iPad or their phone or something like that. They're gonna be like, okay, look, it's $495 to fix this leak. Are you good with that? Yep, good, sign it. All right, they fix it and they pay and we're done. So paying cancels the sequence that was the holding pattern when I put them into the internal form in the beginning, because if they didn't move forward with the quote, then that sequence was gonna eventually go into some kind of drip, follow up. Hey, did you get your problem resolved? We're here for you. Here's some education. Here's relationship building stuff, whatever, right? But since they did move forward and purchase, we cancel that. And now we're going to put them into new customer welcome, some kind of, loyalty program, whatever it is, get them to submit an online review, maybe ask them if they want us to come and assess their whole plumbing in the house to see if there's going to be any future leaks and whatever we can do to fix it, right? We've got an upsell process there, a loyalty process, et cetera. So there was no sales pipeline involved. But if that person then calls back up and says, hey, thanks so much for fixing my water heater. Turns out this house is really old. We need to take a look at the whole house, the plumbing in the whole house. Can you guys come and do that? Okay, now we got a sales pipeline process that we're going to start, right? We got to do the whole quote and have multiple conversations and whatever. So it kind of depends on what you're doing. All right, so we're getting into everyone's questions. You guys have a lot of questions about this stuff, which is great. What I'm going to do is go right up to the top of the chat because our open office